Let's play some APBA golf. I'm Scott Moeller, and since there is not going to be a live stream this week because of some schedule complications, I've had a little extra time on my hands, and I thought maybe I should go back and just do a recording of me playing a single course with a single golfer. Now I've done several of these before. You can find them here on the Game Caddie Play channel. You won't find them under the live tab, but you will find them under videos and on the homepage here. And so today, a course that not too many people talk about or play, as far as I know, is Bell Tower, which is APBA Golf's rendition of the Belfry, just outside of Birmingham, England. And, I don't know a great deal about this course. I've only played it a couple of times, and that was some months ago, so I don't really remember much in terms of how things went. What I did do before coming on the air is I looked up my previous scores, and I played with a couple of all-time great golfers, one of whom was Tommy Aaron, and I think the other might have been Jimenez. And their scores were a couple, 3 strokes above par, so nothing particularly special. But today I thought I'd be playing with kind of a childhood favorite of mine. When I first started playing APBA golf back in the 1960s, early 1970s, one of the golfers in the kind of the original set, the 1962 set, was Mike Souchak. And what I remembered about him was that he was a bomber. He could really hit the ball far relative to these other golfers whose names were better known, but his ability to hit the ball so far stuck in my brain. And so I thought I'd play with him today. But rather than play with his all-time great card, which is the 1959 season, I'm going to be using his card from the 1964 season set, and you can see it right here. Now, what I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll disappear so that everything on your screen appears larger. So let me just come over here for a second and click on that. And okay, I go away. And now you can see hole number 1 at Bell Tower. It's a par 4, rated at 411 yards. Our yardage will differ a little bit from that, as I'll show you in just a minute. But here's Mike's card, right? And you can see all these 31s. He's got a couple of 33. He's got a couple of 31s. He's got a 33. He's got a 32, 34. And if you've been playing APBA golf for any length of time, you know that means he hits the ball a long way. And of course, you can see up here that his average wood rating is a 3 with an average I rating of 4, which is the kind of the opposite of what you'd like to see, meaning that you'd like the woods number to be larger than the irons number. That reduces any gaps that may exist, especially between the 4-iron and 5-iron clubs. But, beggars can't be choosers. So this is what we are going to be dealing with. And we're going to be playing hole number 3 throughout all 18 holes. Let me come over here to the conditions tab and show you that before going on air, I went ahead and rolled using the dice roller here and determined that it would be pin number 3. Bell Tower is an I-rated wind course, so that turned out to be moderate wind when I did the dice roll. And then we're going to have soft course conditions, which means I'm going to lose 5 yards of fairway roll, but will not be affected for green roll. The other thing you have to roll for on Bell Tower, because it has prevailing winds and in some cases quartering winds, you have to roll for the wind type. And in this case, if you roll a 1 through 4, it's a type A. Roll a 5, it's a type B. Roll a C, it's a type C. And I rolled, I can't remember the exact number. I think it might have been a 1. I think that might have been the last thing that I did. So we have a a wind type of A. And what that means, if you're not familiar with these kind of courses, is that it's the predominant wind direction. And so for bell tower, because it has 3 types of prevailing winds, you can have 3 different prevailing wind directions. Okay, and this is just a rando round, not part of a tournament or anything, just kind of a one-off for me. Now, let me show you the configuration settings here. I'm going to be playing with master game rules and the master lie types. I'm going to be using Mike Souchak, who's the PGA player, so we'll just leave this on the original setting over here. We need to select modified wind because, as I mentioned, bell tower does have prevailing winds, so you need the modified option here. And I like to do the auto roll, so to cut down on all the dice rolling and just have the Game Caddie do that for me. The only other thing we've got going on here is with the dogleg procedure. I tend to play by the original procedure. I know lots of people don't like that and they want to play by the modified. Of course, the difference being is they play by the original procedure. That means that shots going through the dogleg will be affected if they cut through the inside of that dogleg, whereas with modified, it doesn't matter which way you cross the dogleg. Those effects apply either way. And then I took a look here at bell tower before setting this up, and it has type A doglegs, meaning that looking from the perspective of the tee, that the dogleg angles as it goes down the fairway towards the green. If you and some courses, particularly some of the older courses, are type A. But you'll also occasionally run into ones that are type B. And what that means is that if you're looking from the direction of the green back towards the tee, then the dogleg bends perpendicular to the center line from that direction. That's all I'm going to say about that at this point. Maybe I'll do a video at some point in the future. But what it does is it by checking one of these 2 boxes, it better mimics the effect of manually counting out the dog legs versus just having it be an Excel math formula. Okay. I'm going to use the regular putting boards for this and just go ahead and apply these settings. Okay, let's see. Let's come over to bell tower. And what we've got here, as you can see, bell tower is a part 72. And with this particular pin location, it plays at 7,235 yards. So a fairly long course. I think we'll be glad that we've got Souchak, who's a long ball hitter. And then for the 2 holes to calculate average driving distance, I've selected 2 of the 3 par 5s, one on the front 9, which is hole number 3, and one on the back 9, which is hole number 15. The other par 5 is hole number 17, but it has a dog leg, a pretty, I think it's a severe dog leg, not too far off the tee, maybe at about 225. So that's why I didn't select that particular hole. And in truth, these 2 holes aren't perfect for trying to measure average driving distance, but they seem to be the best options based on what I looked at with some of the other holes that are there. So we're ready to get started. I'm going to go ahead and load hole number 1 here, and we'll tee off. Okay, so we get the wind rolls menu come up automatically. We have a type A prevailing wind, so that means it's a tailwind for this first hole. So I'll select that under prevailing winds. We got a dice roll of 32, which I believe is going to mean no wind for this hole. And by the way, I don't usually mention this because it's almost always true on every single course that has prevailing winds. If you read the APBA rules, it usually says there's an exception for when you have swirling wind. So that's the default selection here. One other thing that you can turn on if you want when you have a quartering winds, which this course does, is option on the allow left-right effects. I am going to turn that on. And what that does is explained over here. But if I come over here to the conditions tab and show you real quick what it means, see these shaded areas here? Of course, we're playing moderate wind. I was showing you blustery wind. But these shaded areas here, okay, and also down here, are what's picked up by the anemometer over in these boxes here. And when that check mark is on, as I put it on, what it means is that these left-right wind effects, okay, will be taken into account. Now, this only applies to headwinds or tailwinds, and so that's the only circumstance in which all that matters. Okay, come back to Caddie 1, and let's go ahead and click Continue. And as I said, we have no wind for this first hole, and we have a gentle dog leg left at 235 yards from the tee. So I'll come, and then we need to add 10 yards to the flight of all tee shots. So I'll come over to course adjustments and put that in there. I'll show you the hole one more time. Okay, so we're going to have these bunkers over on the right. So ideally, I want to hit the ball somewhere over here. He's such a long ball hitter that he could end up putting it, even with a good shot, down here somewhere. Could get blocked by trees depending on how far left it goes. So I'm not going to try to bomb this one. I'm going to probably pick a 4-wood to try to put the ball more over in this location right there. So come back here to the Game Caddie, call up the all-in-one menu. And a 4-wood will take that ball 245 plus 10, 255. Yeah, I think that's the right club for this. And then I'm going to aim 10 to the left. Yeah, I think so. Even at that distance, I was toying with the idea of 5 to the left, but let's just do this. So a 45 is a 4, okay. And by the way, I didn't call this out before. Souchak has an average W of 3, average I of 4, momentum 1, bounce back 1, sand 1. The shot making is B to the left, C to the right, and a 0 for clutch and 0 for scramble. All right, so let's take this shot. And this shot goes right down the center line, 250 yards, which is going to be in the fairway. And then we're just going to get 10 roll because of those soft conditions, but that'll still keep us in the fairway. So 260 on the center line in the fairway. And I'll go ahead and mark my ball. So that shot landed here and rolls to there. So we've got a good angle here to pin location number 3. Regardless of where we were, we'd have a good angle because that pin location is on the center line. Okay. We've got a carry objective of 140. So if I knock down a 9-iron, that could potentially put us right on the pin. Now that's pin seeking, and maybe that's a little foolish with that pin so close to the front of the green, but I'm going to do it anyway. So 9-iron knockdown with no wind. You get a 54. Well, it wouldn't have mattered. All the strategies in the world wouldn't matter when you get a 54. So that's a 14 in the I column. So this is going to go 390, left 15, and no roll. 390. And so we're just sitting there in the regular rough. and we're 15 to the pin. So there's nothing for us to do here other than just select the 15 to 20 board. Take the shot, 51, that's a 4 in the A column. And that leaves him 10 feet from the pin. One thing I did notice that's different between his all-time great card and his 1964 season card is he's a much better putter in the 1959 card, the all-time great card, which is, of course, what you'd expect. All right, so we don't have any special putting instructions here. Using the regular putting boards, I'm just going to go for it. Oh, but when you roll a double ones, that's a 3, and that ball is in. So managed to save par with a good putt roll, and putt rolls are everything in APBA golf. Okay, so ended up with a par 4, got a fairway, did not get a green in regulation, and ended up with 1 putt. All right, so a lot of that extra talk was to help maybe new users who may be watching this as their first video get oriented to how all this works. And now I'm just going to kind of cut loose and play at a more normal pace, although I will discuss my shot strategy a bit. All right, hole number 2. So we got prevailing winds again. It's a tailwind. So we'll click this one more time. We're not going to have any wind because of this 15 here. It's not going to be a high enough number. No wind. And we've got a gentle dog leg left at 255. So for the most part, gentle dog legs are ignored by the Game Caddie. With selecting the option that we did with A or B, it will be taken into account somewhat. Add 10 yards to the flight of all tee shots. So we're hitting downhill on these first couple of holes. And let's go ahead and open that up and come over here to the shot selection. So we're adding 10 yards. Here's that dog leg. Again, it's a gentle dog leg. I don't want to bomb it out here. Well, and certainly, run the risk of hitting it into the water up here, especially since he's adding 10 yards. So I don't want to use a driver for that reason. I'll stick with a 4-wood. He's not going to have any trouble reaching the green in 2. And there's our pin location. Come back over here. Select the 4-wood. So that's going to go 245, 255, and I will just hit it straight, hopefully. 12, I did not hit it straight. That's a 22 in the W column. So this shot's going to go 240, right 40. All right, so I'm going to be in or behind trees here. 240, right 40. 240, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm behind the trees, and I didn't look to see how much roll. I get 15 roll, so that's 10 rounded up. Excuse me, that's 7.5 rounded up to 10. So I'll get 10 roll. All right, so I'm going to be right there at 250. I am certainly going to be blocked by trees. Alternatively, another way I play, and I probably won't do it in this instance, another way I play is if you have to hit through a bunch of trees that you're in front of, and in this instance, of course, I'd be hitting through more than 2 full squares of trees, I could play this as stymied, even though technically the ball is in the rough. And if I did that, I would want to mark the lie as being tree stymied. But instead of what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit around these trees because that's an option that's available to me. So let's go ahead and record that shot first off. I need to put the 10 roll in there. All right, and regular rough, but blocked by trees. Okay, so we're going to hit around trees. Let's see if I have any restrictions here. Click the all-in-one menu. Yeah, so I don't have any restrictions based on my lie in the rough. To hit around these trees, there's going to be a 25-yard aiming distance adjustment, and that's going to go to the left. So that makes my carry objective now 170, and that's fine. So what do I want to do here? So if I look at what are my club restrictions for a 6-iron? The maximum I can work the ball is 40 yards. That's plenty. I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do this, right? I am short-sighted here. And when you're short-sighted, technically you can't aim, right? Which would be trying to target the pin location. But when you're hitting around trees, presumably, to hit around trees, you have to aim, right? So what I'm going to need to do here, though, is I'm going to need to, well, I can do that. What's going to happen is I'm going to get a warning message. That's what I'm trying to say. This is going to turn red, and I can ignore that warning message, but I want you to know why that's going to happen. So I can work the ball 40 yards right, which would put it back towards the center line. But what I would argue here is that I can't target a location that is on my side of the center line because I am short-sighted. So the way that I am positioning this, and there's more than one way to play this, and my way isn't necessarily the best way or the right way. But what I'm really saying is I'm restricted because of my club selection where I can't work the ball more than 40 yards. And that would put me on the center line since the Game Caddie requires me to aim 40 yards to the left of the center line because I'm hitting around trees. And I'm trying to work the ball back in this direction. But even if I were allowed to work the ball more than 40 yards, I personally wouldn't do it because that would, in essence, defeat the reason for being short-sighted. Okay, so in this case, what I'm trying to target is the center line by working the ball back from 40 yards left of it. Hopefully that makes sense, and there's some reasonable logic to all that. And when you work the ball, there's no distance adjustment. It's just with this. Okay. All right. And this tool does not come on because it recognizes that I'm trying to hit around trees. Meaning, I say the tool doesn't come on. The warning doesn't come on because it recognizes I'm trying to hit around trees here. And it's forgiving me on that basis. So I am going to hit a 6-iron, and then I'm going to knock that shot down. And weirdly, the APBA is fine with knocking down shots when you're hitting around trees. To me, that seems a little weird, but maybe it's not. So here we go. That was a long explanation I wish I didn't have to get into. So here's my roll. 55 is a 3 in the I column, and then a 34, that's a lousy number, is a 13 in the I column. Now let's see where this ball ends up going. Oh, and I needed to add 10 yards to this shot. Oh, no, tee shots. I'm sorry, my bad. All right, so this shot goes 385, right 20. All right, so I ended up going right at the center line, but clearly, that was because I had a bad shot, and that's not where I wanted it to go. So 385, right 20, and there's going to be no fairway roll. 350, 60, 70, 85. So I'm right on the pin line here. But instead of being right 5, 10, 15, 20, and no roll. So that shot ends up in that location right there. So we'll record that as a regular rough. And we're 15 to the pin. And so we'll just do this. 66. That's a 3. That's a good number. 5 feet. Let's see if we can say par again. 14. That'll be good. That's a 14. In. Okay. Do not like it when I have to get into these lengthy explanations during these videos because it slows everything down. But I don't want people saying, watching these videos and thinking, what the heck did he just do? I don't understand why he did it that way. And again, you may choose to do it differently, or you may not. You may object to the way that I do it. But at the very least, I feel like I'm obligated to let you know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, here's hole number 3. With the pin location way back here. And of course, we got all kinds of opportunity to get in trouble with water over here. This is going to be a par 5. This is a gentle dog leg here. And then we got a severe dog leg up here. And this won't come into play unless we're blocked by trees on the shot that crosses through. All right. So, and that's, I think, largely unlikely to happen. Okay, let's load hole number 3. This is one of our 2 holes for measuring average driving distance. We are going to get some wind this time, and this is a type A tailwind right. So come down here, tailwind right. So we're going to get some quartering winds. And when you get quartering winds on bell tower, it's similar to other courses. And there's some instructions here, as well as, of course, these were taken from the actual course board. But basically what this is saying is that when you have quartering winds, your headwind or tailwind is reduced by 5. And then your any left-right wind that you have matches whatever that reduced amount turns out to be. And the Game Caddie does all that for you. You don't have to figure it out at all. It just, in some ways, you have quartering winds, but it overall it decreases the intensity of that wind. But you don't have to do anything special in order to make that happen. Come back here to Caddie 1. And so right now, another thing, I've mentioned this on other videos, when you have quartering winds, the Game Caddie can only show you the tailwind part of that up here. To change that in the Game Caddie would be a major headache. So while it may be a little bit misleading, because you are going to have also a crosswind right at the same time, that's the reason that only tailwind shows up. It was because I didn't know about quartering winds when I built all this stuff in the first place. All right, so as I mentioned, gentle dog leg left, severe dog leg left, farther up, and the first putts across the red line are actually a red 1 line lower than the actual results. Okay, so 1 line lower means that it becomes a tougher putt. All right, so we want to bomb away. We do want to hit a driver, and I'm probably going to aim 10 to the left on this. It's taking a little bit of a chance with a crosswind right. I said 10 to the left. I didn't mean 10 to the left. I meant 10 to the right. It's a little bit of a chance with a crosswind right, but I'm going to do it anyway because I don't want to end up in that bunker up there on the left if I can help it. All right, so our shot roll with the driver is a 25. That's a 3. That's my average W. I'm going to take that bonus, reduce it by 5. And then, double ones over here. And that's a 1. Why am I looking at that? I'm not working the ball. Forget what I was just saying. Ignore that brain freeze there. Okay. So take the shot. All right. So we did have a bunch of wind here. And so the net effect is that the ball carries 10 and it goes right 5. All right. So let's see. So we end up with 280, right 15. That's going to hit in the fairway and then roll 25. Okay. So 305, right 15. 280, right 15, and then roll up here to 305. Measure that, or record that, and that's in the fairway. And because of this little note up here, what I want is that shot to end up on this side of the red line. That's the red line right there. Otherwise, I have a slight putting penalty if the ball's on that side. Okay. But this is a par 5. So do I want to lay up? Souchak can drive that with a 4-wood. In all likelihood, would end up, the carry objective is 245, might end up off the green in the back, but there's no water directly behind the green. It's just rough. Or alternatively, instead of shooting for here and then risking the water there, what if I just lay up here and then have a much shorter shot there? I think I'll do that at this point. So I don't want this ball, I want the ball to end up in the fairway, so I don't really want it to go anywhere past 450. So I'll come over here and I'll put 450 over here in the distance calculator, and that's telling me 150. So I hit a 9-iron or an 8-iron. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit an 8-iron and I'm going to knock it down because of this tailwind. All right, and that ball, I could work the ball right. I'm not going to get that fancy. Let's see. Maybe I will. I'm going to work the ball. Yeah, he has a C rating for working the ball to the right. That's my hesitation. No, I'm not going to do that. That pin's not that far off the center line. So 8-iron, knocked down. Here's my roll. Another double ones. Boy, I'm getting a lot of those. And that's going to be a 3. So that shot's going to go left unless this ball is blown right. And it's not, as you would expect, right? 455, left 5 with no roll. So 455, left 5. So I put the ball right there. So, I'm in reasonably good shape here. We'll record that shot. Be a fairway. And now I'm going to have an approach shot of 90 yards that's going to be targeting this spot right there on the center line, which makes me a little nervous with all this. So I'm actually going to bring it back, and I'm going to target this spot right there, this yellow circle that's on the green. All right, so we'll back this off to a 540. And again, because I'm short-sighted here, I can't aim. But that's one thing I can do is I can move it along the center line. I'm just still going to have that tailwind to deal with, and it's going to be full strength. So let's see what happens. 13 is a 4. So unfortunately, there must have been some wind. It doesn't. No, I'm sorry. There was no wind. It was just where my shot went. 545, right 5. So I'm going to end up right here. I'm going to be on that red line, but I'm going to be on the green. So let's come back here. It doesn't cross the red line. It doesn't say on or cross. It just says cross. I'm not going to be crossing the red line. So I'm not going to be affected by that, but I am going to have 2 straights away. So I'm going to have a 24-foot putt for a possible birdie. And this Souchak is not a great putter, so I'm going to just play it safe. 54 is a 32. I missed by 4 feet. And we'll do it again. And a 23 is a 21. Oops. 21. And that's going to be in. All right, so we parred that hole. I'm okay with that. Moving on, hole number 4. Okay. 32, that's going to be no wind again. It says headwind left. I can click it, but again, it's not going to show up any wind. At 36 and lower with moderate winds, you don't get any wind. All right, all in one menu. I think it's 36 and lower. I'm going to check that. I said that. I need to make sure I'm right. Yeah, right here, 36, 11 to 36. No second roll, no wind. Okay. All right. So we've got a gentle dog leg here, and that's about all we got going on here on this hole. So here's what hole 4 looks like. Pin location is back here or up here. So here's a hole I just want to bomb the ball. And I'm not going to aim right or left. I'm just going to hit it right down the fairway and let him swing away. 33, that's a 2. So I may run into a little bit of trouble here because it went right. 280, right 15 with 25 roll. So that hits in the intermediate rough. So we'll get the full roll. 10, 25. Now, you'll notice what I did there. And this is a speed of play issue for me. If you're new to Apple Golf, you might be confused by what I'm doing. Or if you're new to the Game Caddie, you might be confused. So this ball bounces here. And again, if we did this perhaps strictly in accordance with the way Apple would have you do it, what you would do is you would take this first 5 roll and then say, okay, I've used up 5 of the 25 roll, but now I'm in the regular rough because I'm a full square into the rough. Okay. And then what I would have to do is then cut down the rest of that rough, which would mean 20 divided by 2 would be 10. So I would just roll 2 more squares and I'd still be in the regular rough right here. That's all well and good. Nothing wrong with that. That's probably exactly the way Apple wants you to play it. I don't know. What I know is that on certain courses that maybe aren't quite drawn as good as this one, or at least this particular hole, you get these tiny little squares, and I have to get out my magnifying glass to figure out whether or not the ball's in intermediate rough, or is it in regular rough, or is it on the edge of a bunker, and all this other stuff. So just the way that I play and what I've encouraged people who play with me to do is to not get all hung up on that, because it rarely makes any difference in the long run if you just do it this way. Look at where the ball lands. Okay, that's intermediate rough, and then just take the full fairway roll, which in this case happens to be 25. So that would put us at 10, 25. We'll put the ball right there, and you can see that made almost no difference whatsoever to the outcome. And I'm going to go ahead and put 25 in here. And if I hadn't taken the time to explain that, I would have taken my next shot by now. So 305, right 15, and I'm in the regular rough. Okay, so 125. The pin in front. I do not want to come up short because of the water that's in front of the green there. Right here. Certainly, that looks to me to be like that's on the edge. That would still be regular rough. But I want to put that ball here, something like that, and maybe have it roll backwards a little bit. I do have a good angle here. I could aim, but when you're hitting from the rough, you often end up with more lateral distance in your shot result. So I'm not going to aim. And I'm going to select a pitching wedge and just hopefully I don't underhit it. 46 is a 5. That should be fine in terms of distance, I would think. Okay. So it goes 425, right 10 instead of left. Okay. And then we don't get any backwards roll on this at all. So it just goes 425, right 10. So I'm going to be off the green here, I think. That's 425, then right 10 is right here. So I am sitting in the regular rough once again. $15 to the pin, so you know the drill by now. 32, that's not a good number. 13, so I'm going to be 12 feet away. Let's put the ball on the green. And now I need a really good putt to save par. And I didn't get it. 24 is always a 28, I think. I missed it by 3 feet. And a 63 is often not a good number, but it's a 26. That's going to be good enough in this case. So we bogeyed that hole. All right, let's move on. Hole number 5. I have a bounce back, so I can take that on this hole if I want. We're not going to have any wind, again, for reasons we've talked about, so I'll just click continue. And I like this course so far because we've got so few hole notes to have to deal with it. Makes it a lot easier to play. Now, the question is, do I want to use up a bounce back point on this? We got our pin location right over here. Now, depending on which club I decide to use, one thing I could guarantee myself of is a good angle because he's got a 3 for his average W, which would put the ball over here on the left. So I think I actually will use my bounce back here. Right, so I'll click 1 right there, and that I'm just typing a 1 in. And this is just a manual recording. It doesn't actually do anything other than serve as a reminder for me. Now let's look at my club distances. So 270, and if I knock it in 10 yards, that's going to be fairway or intermediate fairway. Yeah, worse. I think I'm going to end up in the fairway here if I do this. So it's with the soft conditions that I may lose yardage here. So we'll do this. Okay, take that. So 270 left 10, and that hits in the fairway. I add the 25 roll, regardless of, again, what it's rolling through, unless it's a bunker or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to end up 295 left 10, and this is going to be on the edge. So the 295 left 10 is right there. And if I get out my magnifying glass, to me that looks like it's right on the edge. Yeah, that's on the edge. So, oops, I'm gonna take a fairway on that. And now I've got a 105-yard carry objective, and I can aim. It isn't exactly the right club. Let's do this. I'm gonna aim 5 to the right. These often back up 5 yards, depending on the roll you get. I'm going to hit a sand wedge, and I'm not going to knock it down. I'm just going to, do I want to go 10 right? Maybe I'll go 10 right. It's a little more aggressive than I normally play. We'll leave it at the sand wedge and take the shot. 66 is going to be a, let's see, 3. So this is going to go, it's going to back up, but it's going to go 415 right 5. So that's going to be 15, that's going to be 3 past where the hole is, and then it's going to back up 5 yards. So 415, right 5. Here's the hole. So 1, 2, 3, right 5, and then back up 5. So that's going to be a diagonal and a straight away. At least it's on the green. 25 feet. And do I want to go for it? Let's see. It's got a 6 on a 33. Yeah, I'll go for it. I'm going to change the fault here. 35. It's an 11. It's not going to go in, but at least I'm not going to be left with a long second putt. And 24 again. I roll a ton of those 24s in my view. It's a 28, and that'll be in from 2 feet. All right, so got away with a par on that hole. It's kind of hoping to birdie. It's really a birdie hole if you think about it. Okay, hole number 6. Got a ton of water on this hole. And no wind again. So again, it says tailwind. I'll click continue, but no wind's going to show up. All right, we got a severe dogleg left at 280. The shot's landing in the right rough, bounce 5 yards right before taking any roll. There's water over there to the right, and then shot's landing in rough behind the green, bounce 10 yards forward before taking any roll. Okay, well, that won't happen on the tee shot. So we've got this severe dogleg, which is going to push shots that go through the inside. Oh, that's good. So shots that go through the inside of the dogleg will go in that direction. Okay, well, that's good. As long as it doesn't push us over into the water. The shots that like bounce here, which is kind of an unlikely spot for the tee shot to bounce 5 yards right before taking any other roll. All right, so hopefully this water won't come into play. And what I could try to do is bomb it out here. Even if it goes left a little bit, it'll be pushed right. So let's do that. A little risk involved here. I'm just going to hit a driver right down the middle and see what happens. 51. That's a 3. That's my average W. I'm going to go ahead and take that just because I want to go to the right. And so this shot's going to go 270, left 10. That's fairway. And I put the 25 roll in. That's going to be 300, right 5. That is practically a perfect shot, especially with our pin position at hole number 3. So 300, right 5. So ball hit at 270, left 10, and rolls over here to 300, right 5, sorry, right 5, because it crossed through that dog leg. Okay. I'll update that. Fairway. All right, now what we don't want to do is we don't want to end up in the right rough, and we don't want to end up long of the green. I have a good angle, so I'm going to aim left to the 5 to the left. And 145 is the carry objective. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit a 9-iron. This is a reasonably safe shot, but anything can happen. 21. That's a 5 on his card, so that's not going to be terrible. So this shot's going to go 440, left 10, but no roll. So I am going to be 1 straight away. This is 440, left 10, right there. Words are sliding around a little bit. There you go. That's 440, left 10. 1 straight. I'll take it. And that turns out to be 9 feet. Let's come over here. Let's see if we can sink this putt. Double ones again. This is amazing. All right, that's in. So we've got a birdie. I think we're back to even par here. Yep. Good show. That's what they say in England, isn't it? Jolly good show. All right. Bell Tower number 7. Got water on this hole too. 61. Now we are going to have wind. Tailwind right. All right. Now I got into my explanation about that before. So we won't know what that wind is until after I take the shot. I do have a momentum. Do I want to risk it on a shot where there's known wind? And let me show you the pin location here. It's right there. I don't know. Of course, with moderate wind, there's a 50-50 chance of getting a second wind roll that actually has some wind. Will I get another birdie on this course? I'd like to think so. So let's skip it. I'll just take the shot. Okay, so I want to knock it down because of that tailwind. So 6-iron knockdown. It's not ideal, but it's okay. So 6-iron knockdown, and I'm not going to do anything else. 42 is a 4, which was my average eye anyway. And I'm not going to take the bonus in hopes that I don't get any wind. But I knocked it down, so I don't. That will eliminate that wind, I think. 170, right 5, roll 5. So I think I put it right on the pin. 60, 70, right 5, roll 5. All right, there we go. It's on the pin. Let's see if I can get a hole in one here. All right, fingers crossed. Here goes. Ooh, 8 feet away. All right, may not even get a birdie at 8 feet. Let's go for it here. 16, daggone it, 25. Missed it by 2. And then 56. Let's get these rolls out of the way. In. All right. So another missed birdie opportunity there. But I saved my momentum. John Thompson would be proud of me for that. Okay. Number 8. If you don't know John likes to hold on to his momentums and bounce backs, I think, until the back 9 when he plays. All right, more water here. And our pin location. It's right here. Righty. Bell Tower. Load hole number 8. Again, very few hole notes. I'm loving that about this course. I didn't remember that. We do have a gentle dog leg at 285. Again, I'm not going to worry about that. And then 44, we will have a little bit of wind here, and it's a type A headwind. So we may lose 5 yards here. Yep, we lose 5 yards on the carry. Which is okay. Now, this is a hole in which bombers like Souchak, could hit the ball. I mean, they could hit at 350. And granted, he's going to lose 5 yards on the because of the wind. So he could end up in the water up here if I get one of those play result numbers that are in the 30s. Of course, that's assuming I get past this tree and don't hit that. Because this is a relatively short hole, I think I'm just going to play it a little bit safer and try to hit somewhere in here with a 4-wood. That's my strategy for this one. All right. So and you're going to have less left-right dispersion with a 4-wood than you would with a driver. So that's the other rationale. Which a 34 is a 12, which has a huge amount of dispersion with a driver. Let's see what we run into here. Well, thankfully the ball went right, so we're going to avoid the water. But it's at 225, right 30. So I'm gonna end up being, I think, in regular rough. I may run into deep rough over here. I get 15 roll, which would be 10 roll if it's regular rough. So 225 right 30. That's 30 right there. And that's definitely regular rough. If I add 10, again, I got to get out my magnifying glass here. Man, that's close, but I'm gonna say that is on the line, and that's gonna remain regular rough. And I'm not gonna be blocked by trees or anything. This game is hard enough. I'm not gonna cripple myself with you know, APBA board interpretations that are unnecessarily disadvantageous. Okay, so 235 right 30 regular rough. And I'm not out of the woods. I mean, I could end up having problems even with the ball in the regular rough. Let's see what happens here. So yeah, no problems. So that's good. I still got that -5. Carry objective of 215. I definitely got to carry this water here. I don't want to fool with that. And I don't want to go too far to the right, or conceivably, if it's short, too far to the left. So we want to get all of this if we can. 205 2 iron. 3 iron would be 200. It's a little bit of a riskier play, but I'm going to do the 3 iron. And I'm short-sighted. I'm not working the ball, anything like that. We'll just hit a 3 iron here. 24 is a 31, so he clobbered this. So this is going to go 450 left 10. You know, I won't be in the water, but I'll be well past the green. 450 left 10, and then 15 green roll or 10 fairway roll. Let's see where that is. 450 left 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, that's fairway roll. So 10 roll. Puts it right out there. And I'm going to be in the, well, all right, so here's another interpretation. So this green is one of the ones that actually has a fringe drawn around it. Many courses do not have that fringe, but this one does. And because it does, where my ball location is just barely within 1 square of the green. And the rule that I use, again, this is a made up Scott Muller rule. This is not an APBA rule. APBA talks about lies that are within 1 square of the fairway. It does not talk about lies that are within, if your ball is in the rough within 1 square of the fairway, then the ball is considered to be in the irregular, or excuse me, intermediate rough. If it's, APBA doesn't talk about the situation if the ball is within 1 square of the green. And just the rule that I have used is if the ball is within if it's in the rough and within 1 square of the green, then it's considered regular rough. And that unfortunately, I mean, that's a square, right? So I'm going to be in the regular rough in this particular instance. Okay, that's my rationale. Some other people might say, well, no, that you're in your regular rough. You should do it that way. Well, I'm consistent, even if I'm consistently wrong. All right, so that's going to be regular rough. I'm going to be 30 to the pin with a good angle. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to target that location right there. So let's get rid of that 5 right. All right. 62 is a 4. So the shot ends up at 430 right 5 instead of 435 right 5. That's going to be 1 straight. away. So that shot ends up right there, and that's 1 straight away. Which leaves me with a 7-foot putt, okay, for a par. Let's sink this baby. All right, that'll do it. That's a 1. These are not typing with my keyboard here. Hopefully my battery has not died on my keyboard. Nothing is, there we go, finally showed up. In. All right, maybe time to change the battery in the keyboard. Hopefully not. All right, bell tower, hole number 9. Yeah, I love the wireless keyboard, but that's a risk that you take, that you're doing a recording and the battery dies on you. All right, gentle dog leg left at 290 from the tee. Add 5 yards of flight on all the tee shots. Okay, we got that recorded. And then deduct 5 yards from the flight of all second and subsequent shots. All right, so we got a little tiny valley here we're hitting through. Let's take a look at this hole. All right, kind of a narrow passageway through here. And then we got to hit over water for the second shot. Don't want to be over here because then you could be blocked. This is a gentle dog leg, so that if we are blocked, we don't have to worry about that. Let's see. What do we want to do here, Scott? Try to put the ball here or bang it out there? Well, let's just try to bang it. Here we go. Grip it and rip it. Well, that's not going to work. 23. 265 left 45. Oh boy. 265, 10, 20, 30, 40. So we hit there and we're going to roll 5 yards and then we're going to be stopped by those trees. Okay. And how am I going to record this? And I know there are people who will say, well, you're under a tree because you're more than 1 full square back to the center line. And that's how the rules say to play it. And I won't disagree with that interpretation. There's another rule though that often gets overlooked or maybe underinterpreted, and that's rule regarding the master game rules, and and these rules have to do with the trees. It's rule 4.2, and it says that if you are in the rough, if you're in a square of regular rough, or essentially a non-tree, and although I am, and it is going backwards away from the green location, okay, I am within a square of non-trees, okay, and I'm in both this direction and that direction. I would not be in this direction or that direction. So when I think about the ball marker, okay, it's not on a square, it's on a grid line. The square that the ball marker is in are these boundaries right here. And so because of that, I'm in regular rough. Now, I'm not just in regular rough in this instance, okay? Clearly, I am blocked by trees, okay? I don't have any tree clearance towards the front of the green, but I am going to record this as in the regular rough, blocked by trees, recognizing that some people in the exact same situation might say, well, I'm 1 full square, but not 2 full squares into the trees relative to the center line. So I'm going to just say that I'm under a tree. And I don't know which way is right. You can't tell from how the rules are written, but this is the way that I interpret it, the way that I play. Okay, so let's come back here. I need to add the 5 yards for my roll. that I had. Okay, and I'm going to put regular rough, blocked by trees. Now, I'm not doing myself any favors here by being blocked by trees. In some ways, that makes it a little bit harder, especially on holes where you have normal or severe dog legs. Now, we don't happen to have that on this particular hole. What I do have is a hole note, though, that says subtract 5 yards to the fly ball second subsequent WI shots. So I'll put that in there. All right, so now we have to hit around trees, or I could play safe back to the center line, which with that water over here is not necessarily such a bad idea. Unless I decide, well, you know, I'm gonna lay up somewhere no farther than say 360 or 365. So in worst case scenario, I don't end up over here. Maybe that is the thing to do, because if I play safe, I'm going to be still pretty far back. All right, so let's figure out where 365 is. This is a little more complicated than the usual. So in actual distance, I'm 110 yards from that spot. But this is going to be a little complicated because this distance calculator isn't going to take into account all the factors that we've got going on and ones that are taken into account up here. So if we hit around trees, that 180 changes to 210 because it adds 30 yards aiming distance adjustment, because I've got to aim 45 to the right, which is basically 90 to the right, and then I can work the ball back. And if I'm hitting a shorter club, you know, where I want the ball to only go, say 150, it's like an 8-iron or something. Well, I can work the ball maybe 40 yards back. That's not the end of the world. So let's do that. I haven't done this before. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. Oh, and then we got some business over here we got to take into account. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm limited to a maximum of working the ball 40 if I select an 8-iron in this situation, which is what I'm going to select. Okay, I'm working the ball. I'm hitting around trees. In lieu of playing safe. So let's just see what happens here. So a 15 is a 3 in the I column, and a 16 is a 15. Let's see where I end up. So 380 right 5. So I hit that ball, I guess, farther than I anticipated that I would. But I'm okay. 380 right 5 with no fairway roll. So 380 right 5 puts me in the rough, but I'm not in the water. I thought the ball would probably go to here as opposed to there, but you know, I didn't stop to crunch all the numbers. Just took an educated guess. All right, so we're in the regular rough. And some of that may have had to do with the extra carry that appeared over there. All right, so approach caddy. I've got a good angle. That ball sits in the front pin location there. 60 yards away. I'm just going to go for the pin. I'm going to be hitting from the south. 60. May not end up on the green. Let's see what happens. 31 is a 4. That's probably not going to be on the green, but let's see. So 430, left 15. All right. I'm not. And there's no roll with approach shots. So I'm right there. I'm one diagonal away. Okay, 15, yeah. All right, I'm a diagonal away, and so let's see. If I chose to putt from that distance, it would be the 15 column. Okay, so clubs, putter, We're using right. So I'm within one straight, or not one straight, one square. I think that's the way that the rule reads. One square. It doesn't talk about straights or diagonals. So I'd have to, if I'd have to go for it, and I'd have to use this column here. So I will do that. I don't have a great likelihood of making this putt, but I will give it a go. All right. So let's use the putter from off the green. Are you chipping with the putter? Yes. Okay. Chipping from a distance of 15 feet. Use the column to the right of distance above equal to the number of squares off the green. Yeah, I'm one square off. And I get dice roll for the chip is a 34, which is a crummy roll, which is a 27 in the P column. So we'll continue. All right. Now, that means what happened there? That isn't right. With the new putting tool, this works a little bit differently. I'm trying to remember what that number was. 15. So let me put 15 back in there. All right, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to do this manually. So let's come over to clubs. Let's come over to the putter. My putt result was I have to use this column here, a 27. It should be 5 feet. All right, so let's call this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this, put a 5 in there, and that will be my next putt. So we'll dice roll it here. 25 is a 19. That's in. Record that, and that all works out fine. I'll need to look at something there and see if I can make that. The way you have to do it now is different than how you had to do it before. The question is, do I want to go to the trouble of changing something inside the caddy in order to make it consistent with how you did it before, or do I just want to make a tutorial that shows exactly what I just did? And I'll have to think a little bit more about that. But I ended up bogeying that hole, and that is the correct number of strokes. So if we come back over here, shot number 1 was over here, shot number 2 was here, 3 was here, 4 was my chip with the putter, which left me 5 feet away, and putt 5 went in. All right, okay. So 1 over after 9. Let's move on to the back 9. All right, let's load hole number 10. And we might get a wind direction change with, well, I mean, we'll have type A prevailing winds, but things might start changing a little bit relative to the front 9. Sometimes happens when you switch from front to back 9. So 25 is going to be no wind, so we don't have to worry about that. But you can see now it's, instead of being a headwind or tailwind, it's a crosswind right for type A. All right, we've got a severe dog leg at 185. Okay, this is a weird hole. I mean, in terms of what you normally see. We've got to add 10 to the flight of all tee shots. I've used up my bounce back. So here's what we're looking at here. So this is a severe dog leg. All right. And you got some trees here, right? So if you tried to hit directly for the green, not to mention how punitive this water could be. So it is, because we have the original dog leg effects on, and this is a severe dog leg, if that shot goes right, it's going to end up going way over here if we bomb it. If we try to, reach the green in 1. If we go to the outside, we might be okay as long as we get past, these trees right here. So as long as we're not 15 left. But then where are you going to go? You're going to put it here because it's unlikely that you're going to carry that ball over. What is that? 60, 70, 80, 200, 295 yards to even get to that point. So clearly we need to play for somewhere around here. and maybe even have it go through the dog leg a little bit and end up over here somewhere. So that's about the 190. So somewhere in the 175 to 190 range is where we would like it if we want to put it in the fairway. We don't have any wind, thank goodness. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit a 5-iron. And I'm going to play it. Do I want to play it right at all? You don't get a lot of right and left dispersion. Yeah, I may play it left actually a little bit. I may play it 5 left. In hopes of eliminating the dogleg effect and avoiding the bunker that's on the right of that dogleg. But let's just see what happens. So let me think about this. I forgot about the 10 yards there. So I'm going to back this down to a 6-iron. Same logic, just a different club. Okay. 63. Unfortunately, that's an 18 on his card. So I did go left. 175, left 20 with no roll. And I'd have no roll anyway because I'm in that fairway bunker. All right. You can strategize till the cows come home, but if you get a bad roll, you get a bad roll. So, update, fairway bunker, record. All right, now our second shot. 130 is the carry objective. This pin location, thankfully, it's one of the better pin locations for this particular hole. Back here. Just don't want to hit it short. So I may end up going off the back of the green here. 130, let's see. Pitching wedge, 125. I'm going to hit a pitching wedge. Not going to do anything other than just hit it and see what happens. 14, oh goodness, 28. Well, thankfully it went right. Oh, wait a minute, what happened here? Oh my goodness. Let's see. No, I'm okay. Well, I think. 285, right 20, no roll. 285, right 20. All right. Well, not a great shot, but I didn't end up in the water. Update, regular rough. I'm going to have a good angle. 30 to the pin. I'm going to be hitting from the east, going that way. And I'm absolutely fine with that. I'll just leave things the way they are. $52. Boy, these numbers just keep coming. So 295 left 10. So I'm going to be, I think I'm going to be on the 1 pin position. 295 left 10. Yeah. So 1 diagonal away. Right there. So 10 feet to save par. All right, I could use it. Oh, again, another 16. $42 to 28. Yeah, like I said, he's not a great putter. It's not terrible, but by no means great. So now I'm 2 over par. Going the wrong direction here. Hole number 11. I often find that the back 9 on these courses are a lot harder than the front 9. I don't know if that's a fatigue factor or what that is. Tailwind right. Normal dogleg right at 265. And then we got some stuff about putts that won't come into play on the tee shot here. That's a normal dogleg. I'm trying to bomb it, ended up over here, or hit a 4-wood to there. If I bomb it, I'm gonna have to be sure I can bomb it. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna do a 4-wood. Oh, and I've got some wind here I forgot about. So I've got a carry and a right 5. All right, so I'm going to aim left 5, hit a 4-wood. 66 is a 1. And well, he kind of did bomb it here. So 270 left 10. This is going to be fine, I think. And I'm only going to get 10 roll, these soft course conditions. So 280 left 10. So I'm in good shape. All right. Let's see what those hole notes are. Well, I'll record the shot first here. So 280 left 10, fairway. And so first putts that do not cross a red line read result 1 line higher. Okay, so that means it's an easier putt. And then first putts that cross a red line read result 1 line lower than actual result. Okay, 32 to 36 unchanged. 33 to 36 unchanged. Okay. So this ball's going to go 5 right. I'm short-sighted. I don't want to go right. So I'm going to work the ball left 5. He is a B. That's just a little bit better. I'm going to work the ball left 10. 150. Alternatively, I could just knock this shot down. Maybe that's a better thing to do. That's a safer play. So let's do a 8-iron knockdown. And I won't work the ball at all. Let's just see what happens there. 33 is a 3, so the shot's going to go left. So 435 left 5, and the pin's at 435 left 10. So I stuck it, or Mike stuck it, right 1 square away, because there's no roll. And I'm within those red lines there. So I just have a 1 straight away, and I get to do 1 higher. All right, so 1 straight. 8 feet. And 1 higher. All right, so we're going to use this little tool here. And in essence, we're subtracting a number. All right, we're making it easier. Okay, so let's roll. You wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it. 16, of course, is a 25. Everybody's got that memorized at this point, which is going to make it a 24, but I'm still going to miss it by a foot. All right, and I think it was just first putt, so we'll get rid of that, put it back to 0. And then 21 is a 29. And that's in. All right, well, let's move on. It's not going to change staring at it. Hole number 12. No wind. 14 for the dice roll. Add 5 yards to the flight of all tee shots. All right, we got water on this hole. Let's take a look at it. Our pin location, it's way back here. At least it's away from the water. And we have no other hole notes other than that. Add 5 yards to the flight of all tee shots. Okay. So 235 is the carry objective. So that's basically a 2-iron and hope that it can stick on the green. All right, here we go. 63. 33. All right, well, this is not going to stick on the green, I don't think. 220, left 5. Well, maybe I'm all right. Maybe with a 2-iron, it doesn't have as big an impact. And then 15 roll. I think we might be okay here. I might be just one away. This might be just fine. So 220, left 5, roll 15. One straight away. Wow. I would not have guessed that. Well, clearly, I didn't guess that. Let's see what one straight comes out to be. 7 feet. All right. And now, let's see if I can not roll a 16. 64. That's not a good number either. That's a 23, though, which is another miss by 1 foot. And 21, this is like the same pattern. This is a 29 and another par. How many feet of putts do I have at this point? I have 61. That's not terrible. But I got 15 feet on one putt. All right. Number 13. And we will have a little bit of wind here. Got a tailwind, okay. That'll give us, what, 5 yards? Yeah. All right. Got a normal dog leg to the right, 230 yards from the tee, and add 10 to the flank. Okay, so we got significant dog leg effects on this course here. Oh, and out of bounds. Okay. And the ball, if you cross it inside the dog leg, throws you in that direction. Oh, you can't really chance it. You got to hit something that goes maybe 215, which with that added 10 rolls, 225. Okay. Maybe a 4-iron. Yeah. I'll hit a 4-iron. And I'm going to aim, I think, 10 to the right here, maybe. No, I'll just hit it straight. I hope. 46, 32. Let's see what happens here. 215, right 10. All right, that hits in the fairway. It only gets 5 roll. I guess, I don't play with players that have these numbers so much. So I guess I'm really surprised by that these balls aren't going farther, particularly on the roll. 220, right 10 is where this ball ends up. Which is a great shot. I mean, I got no problem with it. I'm just surprised. As much as I played, there's not a lot that surprises me anymore, but that does. Okay, now I've got a good angle. If I want to risk putting it in that bunker to the left there, by the green, by the pin. Probably won't. I'll just try to hit towards the center line here. Okay, still get that 5 carry. Oh, I didn't record the shot. Yeah, so let's record that. Throw it away. Five carry. Carry objective 160. So I had a 7-iron knockdown. .63 again, which for an iron is not a good number. So 365, left 15. I'm going to be well short. 365, left 15. Yeah, so I'm going to hit here, which may be fairway. Well, it's really tough to see, even with the magnifying glass. I would say that it's right on the edge, but again, on the edge in this case means regular rough because of my within 1 square of the green rule. So I'm going to have the roll, which may not be bad. Well, there's no roll. Why even worry with it? I'm in the rough. Okay. So 365, regular rough. I'm going to be 20 to the pin from the regular rough. 45 is a 5. Is 8 feet. Ball on green. Let's go for it. 26 is an 18. That might be okay. Yeah. All right, so save par on that hole. And I may have been unnecessarily hard on myself by saying that shot was from the rough. Maybe you might have argued that was fairway there. Bell Tower, 14. I'd like to get some birdies here. This is going to be a par 3 with some wind. Got a headwind this time. And we won't know how much until we take the shot. The holes in front. Let's take a look here. That's the only thing we're dealing with. So can't aim on a par 3. Could work the ball. See what our distances are. 180. Let's open the all-in-one menu. I want to hit a knockdown shot. So a 5-iron knockdown, and do I want to work the ball? To the right, he has a C. Oh, why not? We'll work the ball to the right 5 yards. I don't think this is going to work out well, no matter what I do, but let's just do it. All right, 44 is a 3, and then a 16 is a 15. So this shot ends up at 185, right 10, with 5 green rolls. So I'm going to roll off the green, I think. The pin's at 180, right 10, so 185, right 10, and then 5 green roll puts it. That is regular rough, according to my rule. All right. All right, 10 to the pin. 12 to 28. That's not good. I'm leaving myself 11-foot putt for par. Wow. 35. That's an 11. That's probably in. That is in. Wow. Okay. Salvage par again. Still 2 over. Hoping to break par here at some point. Transfer hole number 15. No wind. Okay. General dogleg left at 280, so there's nothing we really need to do on this one. Come over here, and so we got water here. We're not going to reach that on the tee shot. Could end up in this mess over here on the tee shot. So par 5. Par 5. Of course, we got laying up. That would be a challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim 10 to the left. I'm going to try to bomb it. I may end up get caught up in this bunker here. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm playing a little more aggressively than I normally would because I want to try to break par if I can, or at least get to par. Here we go. 36. That will not help. 260, left 40. 25 roll. All right, I'm going to roll 10, and I'm going to be stopped by that tree there. And we've got exactly the same situation as before. Some people would say, okay, I'm under a tree, and that's how I'm going to record the lie. I am not. I'm going to say I'm blocked by trees because I've got a non-tree square there as well as there. And I have to hit around trees. Again, in this case, I think probably a bigger disadvantage to do it the way that I'm doing it. All right, so let me record the 10 roll I got. Was it 10 roll or 5 roll? I'm sorry, it was 5 roll. Yeah, okay. Regular rough, blocked by trees. Okay. And I've got a questionable lie, so that means whatever my maximum work for the ball is, it's 10 less than whatever that would be. And I want to hit the ball as far as I can. I think with a 4-wood, the club maximum is probably 40, so 30 is the maximum I can work the ball. That's not great because hitting around trees, I'm 40 off the center line. So that means I can only put a 30 left in there, which is what I'll do. And then I'm just going to grip it and rip it. Here goes. $11 for the shot roll. It's a 1. And then 61 for the work the ball is a 5. Let's see what happens here. So 480, right 10. But I'm going to end up in that bunker, I think, because I got 15 roll. 480, right 10. And so I will get 10 roll to get into that bunker. Yeah. Again, I could have taken time to calculate all that out. I chose not to. With so many variables involved, I find that it's almost always a waste of time because things never work out the way you think they're going to. So now we're in the sand trap, greenside bunker. He does have a sand point. Let's take a look at where the pin is. Pin is all the way back here, so I've got a good angle with a sand point. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to target that location right there and take the sand point, which means I can hit from the fairway column. So open this up. I'm going to make that 565 and get rid of that 575 sand point, and here's the shot. 41 is a 5. So, well, we're okay. 560 left 5. That's 570 left 5. So I'm going to be 2 straights away. I'm going to put the ball right here, which when you're in a bunker from that distance, you're practically lucky to get it on the green. 2 straights. $21 feet. I'm going to go for it from 21 feet. So change that to go. 66. Wouldn't have mattered if I went for it or not. That was in. So as much as I've complained about putting, I've had some good rolls too. All right, so we did get a stroke back and only 1 over at this point. I'm invigorated by that, and I could use my momentum now. I don't think I used it up. So let's go over to Bell Tower. Let's load hole number 16. We got some wind there, 62. So headwind left. That's not great. Okay. And then general dog leg at 235, add 5 yards to the flight of all tee shots. And then first putts read, result 1 line left. So it's going to make it a little more difficult. Okay, so let's take a look here. I do have a momentum. I might as well use it because the likelihood of getting another birdie here is pretty slim, especially if I don't use it. So that means I can't aim or work the ball. It means I've got to hit left, man. And of course, we've got a bunker over there right here. So unfortunately, he's got an odd number for his average W, which means I probably need to back off and hit maybe a 4-wood. Let's see here. So 245 plus 5. It's only going to get on like 10 roll altogether, maybe. Yeah, I think the 4-wood is the shot. And that's a 3. Take the average W. Let's see what this headwind does, if anything. Nothing. So 250 left 5, roll 10. So that's going to be in the fairway. So I actually was able to put it right where I wanted. 260 left 5. Right there. Pins over here. I'm going to be short-sighted again. Okay, what do we got here? Carry objective of 150. I need to knock it down. That means an 8-iron, knock down. And then do I want to work the ball to the left? Oh, why not? 5 to the left. With this B rating. Let's see what happens. 62 is a 6. This is going to come up well short. Unless the headwind's not going to help me. 34 is a 13. Oh, well. So 400 left 5 with no roll. Yep, and I'm in the regular rough again. This hole has no fringe around it at all. 10 from the rough. 53 is a 4. So that's going to leave me 7 feet away, and then I've got to deal with this 1-line lower thing. All right. Add. $26 is an 18, which is going to make it a 19. That's in anyway. All right. Okay, managed to get a par. Let's see if we can, let's get to par. Bell Tower, 17. Yeah, gonna have a little bit of wind here. Tailwind, a lot of tailwind today. All right, so we've got 5 carry additional. And then we've got the severe dog leg at 245. Do I want to bomb it? The problem, of course, is if you get caught up here, somewhere down here, you could be blocked by trees going, well, yeah, especially down here. You don't want to hit short because then you'd be blocked by trees and have to take these dog leg effects into account. If you hit it up here, it might be all right, and then the ball would go over here a little bit. Yeah, so maybe I think with Souchak, a 4-wood probably is the right club to do all that with. Let's do that. I'll just hit it straight. 52, 24. This is not going straight. All right, so exactly what I was afraid of happening happened. You know, risky run. 225, right 35. So I'm not going to make it to the dog leg. 235, no, 225, right 35. So that's going to be 10, 15, 25, 35. And then it's 15 roll, but I'm only going to get 10 roll. Now I'm going to be blocked by trees. Oh boy. I think. Let's put that to the front of the green. That spot there. It's pretty close. It's just very hard to do looking at the screen. Yeah, it does. It gets blocked right around there. And I mean, I might have a tiny bit of tree clearance, but not much. And then everything's sticking to my hand here. I think it was right there. And then we've got water here. I play it safe back here. Certainly if I go far enough left, I'll get around the tree clearance issue. To think about this for a second. Let me make sure I've got that marker in the right spot. So it's going to be 235 left, excuse me, right 35. Yeah, it's in the right spot. And so I need to count from the first full square of trees I run into is right there. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And weirdly, these are going to be straights too, right? Now that's going to be a diagonal. Yeah, it's going to be 6 and then 1 diagonal and then 7 to that spot. So 7 straights and a diagonal. Let's come over here. 7 straights, 1 diagonal. So I need 45 yards of clearance for my club from the rough. So I could hit up to a 9-iron and clear the tree. And that's what I'll do. That way I don't have to worry about the dogleg effects. In fact, I can turn them off once I record this shot. Well, they'll come off automatically, unless I say blocked by trees, which I'm not going to say since I've already planned out my next shot. All right, so 10, it's 235, right 35, and then the regular rough. And now I am restricted to a 9-iron. Which is what I'll take. That won't get me to the water for sure. We'll just hit this. .35 is a 4. And I will take my average, that's going to go left. So 370 left 5 with no roll. That turned out just fine. 370. Oops, 370. And you can see how you could actually hit the ball to that location, given where I was. So I was over at 235, left 35. I forget if it was that point or that point, but you could see how you could reach that spot. That's not crazy to imagine. All right, so let's record that fairway. And now we got this pin way in the back. Let's take a look here. It's way back here. I do have a good angle. So I'm going to aim right 5. Now, let's see what club 200 carry objective. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. Is because these numbers are not in the order in which you want them. You want your average W to be higher than your average I. We get this big gap in here between a 4-iron and a 5-iron. So I'll hit a 5-iron. I may not get there. Aiming 5 right. So let's just see what happens. 56. Well, again, with rolls like that, it doesn't really matter. 17. Hopefully it'll be on the green somewhere. Maybe not. 555, right 20 with 5 green roll. No, I'm in the sand trap. All right, 20 to the pin. I've used up my sand point. And when you know it, I'm under the lip. So do I play safe or aggressive? Oh, I'm 20 to the pin, so I think I'll play safe. I'm probably going to end up with some extra yardage here, but that's okay. It's not okay, but nothing I can do about it if it happens. 43 is a 5. I'll take the shot. Extra putting distance recorded directly in the caddy notes. So I just click OK. And so I end up with a total of 15 feet distance. So the Game Caddie's done all the work for me. It's taken whatever my shot result was and added whatever the extra lie distance was for being under the lip. I just need to click ball on green. Now 15 feet to save par. Let's go for it. 51, that's not a good number for putting. 23, missed by 3. I'm going to bogey. 62 is a 12. Yeah. All right, so I've only got 25 putts so far, but another bogey, so I'm back to 2 over. And I mean, there was a chance to salvage a par on that hole. Just my 3rd shot went into that bunker after doing all that recovery work. Bell Tower, 18. Okay, severe dogleg left, 235 yards from the tee. No wind. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the hole. So here's the 235, severe. Thankfully, it goes in the direction that we want. So we can, if we go to the left, we'll be okay. And if it goes to the right, won't necessarily be great, but we won't be in the water. Might end up over here in this bunker. But I can live with that. So we're just going to bomb this and see what happens. 36. Man, oh man, my tee shot rolls are terrible. All right, so because of the dog leg, you can see the shot went 30 left, 260, 30 left. But because of the dog leg and where it is, the shot ends up at 265 left. Thankfully, that's enough to clear the water. And then it lands in the fairway, so we get 25 roll. So we're going to be at 285 right 20 unless something stops us on the way there. 285 right 20. Yeah, and the shot landed 260. So I can't remember what it was, but it would have been, I think it was left 5, 260 left 5. So it would have rolled, right to that spot, and that's fine. We're in the intermediate rough. That's for that hole. It's a fine shot. No problems with that, despite that lousy roll. So 285, intermediate rough. And hopefully we won't pay a price for that. Well, we get 5 extra carry. So our carry objective is 205. Our pin, again, way in the back, but thankfully we have a good angle. You can tell for a lot of tee shots, I don't even concern myself with good angles because there are bigger considerations like the water. All right, so we will aim on this. We'll probably aim 10 left. Okay. And then 205. So 4 wood, that's probably too much club. 185 is not going to be enough club. So we'll hit a 4 wood, or excuse me, a 4 iron, and hope I don't get it all. 56, oh boy, 14. So I ended up going right anyway. So 475, right 15, 15 green roll. And I'm not even going to be on the green. 10 fairway roll. 475, right 15. Let's see, what was this? I have to look. So this is 490. 475 would be right here. And then 1, 2, 15. To cheat again. 15 right and 10 fairway roll. And that is regular rough, so I get 5 roll. I'm not even close on some of these second shots. 30 to the pin. I got a good angle. I'm going to make this 10. And I'm gonna have to redo this because I want to approach from the south instead of the east. Choose that, and I gotta put that back to 10 because it resets itself once I change the path direction. All right, this is the club. 62 is a 4. So 495 left 15. So we're okay. The shot ended up. Well, you can't see it. Shot ended up 495 left 15, so 1 straight pass. I was targeting that spot right there, and it ended up there. 1 straight. $11 feet to save par. Here we go. 51 again. Not gonna get it done. 63. Well, it seems like the same numbers keep coming up over and over again. 26. That's it. All right. So a disappointing ending. Again, back nines, for whatever reason, seem to be harder than front nines, or maybe it's just the way that I play. But I ended up with a total of 3 over because I not double bogeyed. I bogeyed the last 2 holes there, where I'd gotten it down to 1 over. Just I couldn't hang on. And let's take a look at fairways only 47%. That's below average. Sometimes with longer hitters, you'll see that. But the bigger problem is greens and regulations at 39%. I mean, you're just not going to break par when you do that. Sand saves, I was, 1 out of 2 sand saves. So for 50%. The driving distance on those 2 holes that I picked at the beginning was an average of 285. The longest drive I had on the day was 305 yards, which is really not all that long, but the dog legs, in most cases kept me from trying to bomb the ball. Longest putt made was 21 feet. That was nice. And then I had another one, I think that was 15 feet. So that accounted for a lot of that 113 there, total length putts made. That looks good. It's a little bit misleading. 27 putts in total, which is not bad. It's not great, but that's you can break par with 27 putts on around most days. And then the driving distance, considering all drives, the average was 263, which is a pretty big difference from the 285 up here. All right, So that's Bell Tower in all, despite the fact that I didn't play well. Let me get myself back up here on the screen. Uh, Despite the fact that I didn't play well, I like this course, and I think with more practice on it, I might shoot better. And certainly with different players, I might shoot better on this course. It'd be interesting to see how the ladies do on it. It might be too long for them, but I enjoyed it, and in part I enjoyed it. One, because it's well drawn. Most of the things on this course are easy to see and read. I only had to get out my magnifying glass 1 or 2 times, and that's maybe more about my eyesight than the way that the course is drawn. And secondly, I'd like it because there are not a million hole notes. You know, things go relatively quickly. It's not complicated. You can run into some situations that may be new or unfamiliar, but that's not necessarily specific to this course. It's just, you know, sometimes you play bad and have to deal with unfamiliar shot situations. But that said, I like the course. I recommend the course. Until next time, grip it and rip it.